Another question I get asked a lot on my DeviantArt pictures is, how do I edit my photos? Now, I tend to think that I don't do a lot of editing on my photos, but for other people that is the extreme opposite. I used to do a ton of editing on my photos. I used to do skin softening. I would blur certain parts of my face to get rid of lines, but now my editing has limited down to pretty basic editing. Now basically most of my pictures are just a play on the lights, and also I get rid of the bags under my eyes. You can probably see them. Baggy eyes. I try to edit out the baggy eyes in my photos as often as I can, just because that's just the case for me. If you sleep right and you drink plenty of water, you should be fine. Most of this is all makeup. This is all makeup. So in pictures, my face looks very smooth because I put on foundation, I put on powder, I put on concealer. So I'm really, in the better sense of the word, as Dean Winchester would say, I'm a painted whore. So really you gotta keep an eye out for that. I do suggest using foundations for your pictures. It makes your skin look flawless if you use foundation, so I definitely suggest, if you are just starting out in cosplay or if you need some tips on makeup, definitely use foundation. That's your friend. It will always be your friend. Another thing I do with my pictures is I usually play around with the saturation and the colors. Sometimes I like to have certain colors brighter, and sometimes I like to have certain colors a little bit toned down. I don't like my pictures being too saturated. That's just me personally. I like to dim down the colors and make it a little bit less, I guess I like to make it a bit dreary a little. But I will actually go over a tutorial on how I edit my photos. I will show you a photo unedited and then show you the finished product of that photo afterward. So just keep an eye out for that one. It'll be a tutorial. How do I do my makeup? For starters, I don't use very expensive makeup. I can't afford MAC and stuff. I'd love to use MAC. MAC is a beautiful, wonderful product, but I can't afford that right now, so I use really generic, cheap brands. I am actually going to do a few tutorials on just foundation and different eye shapes, different eyeshadows, and just what you can do to spice up your cosplays and to also work on your cosplay makeup. So please look forward to those tutorials. I'll answer that in full, that question completely in full when I get to it. Another question I got asked was, what brand of sock glue do I use? I use a pretty generic brand that dancers and ice skaters use. It's meant for performances when you are performing to keep the costume in place. I found it on Amazon.com and it was a little roll-on bottle. I cannot locate it right now, but I will definitely give you guys a full list of con items that I take with me to a convention, just like in general, what do I bring with me, and sock glue is definitely on the top of the list for that. What do I do to make my eyebrows change color? Okay, so basically I will do a full-on tutorial for this, but I'll also give a short explanation. Basically what you do is you put foundation over the eyebrows, and you're going to just make sure you put on a lot. Usually what I do is I either, if I don't have a liquid liner in the color that I want to use, I will either get a pencil or I will use eyeshadow. Pencil is what I used for my Rogue cosplay. I changed my eyebrow color with a eyebrow pencil. And for my Fran costume, I used liquid liner. And that one, I really like liquid liner just because it stays on longer, it doesn't smudge, and it's a lot more brighter in pictures. Eyeshadow I use when I don't have a pencil or liquid liner in the same color. I usually have in my my palette of eyeshadows, I usually have the color that I need that'll match the wig. So whenever I don't have a pencil or liquid liner, I always use eyeshadow over them. And sometimes, you know, I forget, so I am very handy and I go into Photoshop and I Photoshop the eyebrow color. Another question I got was, what is the hardest thing for you to make? For me, it would probably have to be my Len cosplay. I did that completely without a pattern or without any help. And I did the light up sleeves. Now, sewing the costume was pretty easy, but doing the light up sleeves was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I was electrocuted so many times. That really was a bother to me. It electrocuted me quite a few times, so I would have to say that working with electronics for my costumes is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do with costumes. I'm hoping I become more savvy in that genre. I have a few friends that are willing to teach me, so I'm hoping that in the future I can utilize them and they can help me out with making some new costumes with special effect light up stuff, the really cool things, big leagues and stuff. How did I get into cosplay? That's a question I get asked a lot. I've pretty much been doing what was considered cosplay for a really long time with my sisters. We would dress up as Pokemon trainers and Harry Potter characters, and we'd go around to random places dressed up as whatever we wanted to be. And so the concept of cosplay has been in my life for pretty much since I was born. But the whole cosplay officially thing, I first cosplayed at Fanime 2004 as Inuyasha from, of course, the hit series by Rumiko Takahashi, Inuyasha. He was my first cosplay ever. My parents bought me the costume convention because my sister basically talked me into it. She told me that everyone cosplays at conventions, so I should get with the crowd and do it. You have my sister to blame for my obsession. I blame her. I love cosplay and I wouldn't go a day without it, so I really thank my sister so much for getting me into it, and of course for cosplaying with me. She was my first official cosplay partner. My older sister, Bear Moon, you can find her on DeviantArt, and you can also find her, she has a blog, I believe it's called Lady Dragon Queen. She is an amazing Elvira cosplayer, and of course she was my very first cosplay partner, so all my love goes out to her. What would I suggest for beginner cosplayers? First of all, I say you can cosplay whoever and whatever you want. Do not let other people tell you you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too short, you're too tall to cosplay any character you want. Because you can be whoever you want, and all that other information, all that other details, they don't mean anything. Because you can do so much with cosplay. You should be allowed to cosplay whoever you want, and nothing should stop you. I don't even care about ethnicity. If you want to cosplay as Japan and you're full-on Caucasian like me, go do it. Don't let anyone else tell you that you can't cosplay that person because you're not Asian or you're not of the Asian descent. So, please, you know, cosplay what you want to cosplay. I don't care if you're fat or skinny. You can cosplay whatever character you want to be, and don't let that run short. Cosplay is about making your dreams come true and being someone you're not. And I think a lot of people put this boundary on cosplay saying, well, I'm too short to be this character. I have cosplayed both short and tall characters, where the shorter characters have either been shorter than me or taller than me, and the taller characters have either been taller than me or shorter than me. So, you know, I say don't let anything limit you. Cosplay is about letting your imagination go. Cosplay is about becoming something you're not, and just, you know, having a good time and being someone that you really, really love. So I say with beginner cosplayers, do whatever you feel like doing. Also, you don't have to be the best. It's not necessary to be #1, and it's not necessary to have the best made costume or the best looking wig. I just say, you know, just as long as you put all your all into your cosplay and you try your hardest, that's all that matters. You're a cosplayer. So don't give up, don't be disheartened, and do what you want to do. That's what it's all about. It's all about that. So, really, that's what I gotta say to beginner cosplayers. Don't get discouraged, really. Because if I got discouraged with some of the things that have either been said about me or that, you know, people put those limitations on me, I wouldn't be where I am. And I really I say, you know, if cosplay is about letting your imagination go, freeing your head, and just being what you want to be, and just experiment with it, explore it, and have fun with it. That's the most important part. Have fun with it. So I guess that's pretty much it for frequently asked questions. I closed down the FAQ submissions for today, so if I get more in the future, I'll make a tutorial, I guess, or just talk on a few extra that I get. But for the most part, that's all I've got to say for frequently asked questions. If you have any further questions, please ask on this video down below. Comment down there, and I will either answer back or I can make another video just explaining in better detail about it. So without further ado, I'm just going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and once again, thank you guys so much, and I hope you look forward to the rest of my videos. Bye!